Oh, we got a big weekend this weekend, man. This rivalry gets a lot better, man. UGA 1 versus Tennessee 2, man. They call this a game of the century, man. It always happens in the SEC for whatever reason. I always happen in the SEC. So, Ma, what you got on that, man?
Of course, I got Georgia winning, but man, before the season, man, when you looked at Georgia's schedule, to me, Tennessee was the only possible loss, the toughest game they had on the schedule. Tennessee's been impressive, man. Georgia's been shaky. To me, I think when it comes down to it, I think Georgia's been here. Tennessee is on the rise. More power to Josh Heupel and what he's doing up there in Knoxville. But I think at the end of the day, the better team is going to be Georgia. They're at home between the hedges. I expect to win by Georgia, man.
Yeah.
Hendo, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, look, man, Georgia's Georgia. I mean, I like Jalen Hyatt. I like what he did a couple of weeks ago. He's had a couple of big games. He's putting himself in that draft stock, but at the end of the day, it's Georgia, man. And I think Georgia's in the class of their own. No disrespect to the other teams that we'll probably talk about, but Georgia's in the class of their own. And I think that they did lose a linebacker. I think it's Smith that's out now, if I'm not mistaken. But this team is still dangerous. I expect to be a game from the tight end, Bauer. So I'm going with Georgia. I think Georgia wins this game. I think I think the first half will be close, but I think the second half Georgia's gonna put it on them. I just think that Georgia is who they are, man. But I'm gonna show some love to Tennessee. But yeah, they got this game. This is a lot for them.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. At the beginning of the season, I was high on Tennessee. I said Tennessee would be the second best team in the East. I felt real good about Hooker. I felt real good about Heupel and just what they had last year. They was in a lot of games last year. They just could not pull it off. But I think the difference in this game right here is going to be defense. And Tennessee, as great as that offense is, Heupel come bringing a Big 12 high explosive offense to the SEC. I think defense is ultimately what's going to hurt Tennessee. Tennessee does not play great defense. I mean, they can score, but I think Georgia's going to be the best defensive team they go up against. And this is just my hot take, man. All takes matter, right?
Yeah.
Georgia's going to win by 10-plus points this weekend between the hedges. I got Georgia winning by 10-plus points. I think we're going to be able to cover Tennessee the way that Alabama could not. We're not bringing a safety up. And, hey, if you're going to run the ball, Tennessee, run it. I got Georgia by 10-plus points, man. That's my hot take on that.
I think Georgia's going to have to run the ball, they look good running the ball last week. The run's been spotty this year, but I think it's going to come down to stops, man. And Georgia has the ability to make stops. Can Tennessee do it? I don't know. Is that defense is good? Like they gave up 42 points to Alabama?
Yeah.
49.
49.
Yeah, 49. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying our offense is Alabama, but when Tennessee needed to make stops, they couldn't make stops against Alabama. So, I think it's going to come down to that, man. I think Georgia can make stops. We're going to see if Tennessee can make some.
And Georgia's been there. Once again, like you said earlier, they've been there, dog. Like, this team has been there. Like, this ain't a pressure game for them. This is definitely a pressure game for Tennessee to make everybody know, hey, we here. And like I said, I like Jalen Hyatt, but he ain't seen that kind of defense yet.
He ain't seen
so we're gonna see.
We're gonna see. All right, let's